Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to another Nerd Nation broadcast. We're talking Discovery, Season 3, Episode 5 or 6? Episode 6, I believe. Sorry, I apologize. Episode 6. Thank you very much for bringing me back around. Okay, I'm here with my good friend, Cousin Cheeto. Say hello, my friend.
Howdy. Welcome to
Great.
America.
Yeah. The transatlantic partnership going on here. Okay, this is full on spoilers. We're going to be talking about all that's happened in this episode. So let's go. We start off with Discovery getting a 31st century upgrade, which I kind of liked. They get all this programmable matter and shit. You saw the detachable. Is it called the nacelles? The bits on the side. Yeah, they are able to be split apart through this sort of matter sort of shit. It looks a bit like a pixelated version of the T1000 all scattering around and stuff. Very interesting. Anyway, after that little initial touch up, we get Admiral Vance giving orders. He's giving all his fleet orders. There's all these different captains and stuff of various star fleets, and he's telling them what to do, this, that, and the other. Now, apparently, I just want to quickly look at my notes here. The Andorian Orion Syndicate are setting up something. Sorry?
What are they called again? They're the Emerald something.
Oh, I forgot Emerald Syndicate or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Anyways, regardless, it's good to see Star Trek characters or aliens that have played a part in Star Trek but have never got the light shone on them, because so often we get Romulans, so often we get Klingons. These are the people we always focus on, so it's good to focus on other ones. So they're up to something, and there's all these other shit going on around the galaxy that the Starfleet has to deal with. So as I said earlier, Admiral Vance is sending people out and about. Discovery is hoping to obviously go out and about as well, but because they've got the spore drive, the Admiral's using them as a rapid response crew, so they can be anywhere at any time they need them to be. So that's how they were going to be used. So far up to all of this moment, with seeing the ship being redesigned, the Admiral's giving his orders, what he wants from Discovery. What do you think so far, Bob?
I think it's really good. I mean, I don't disagree with him. I mean, if you have an energy shortage warp drive shortage, I mean, you're going to want a rapid response team. And I mean, that it's actually a pretty legitimate and smart decision that he made to keep Discovery there, because we're like, oh, we want Discovery to go all around, but and that's what we want, but it makes more sense that Discovery was kind of there just in case if the current situation became bad news bears.
Yep, exactly. When you need some backup, what better backup to have than 1,000-year-old starship? Nevertheless,
it did have some upgrades. I mean, I know you mentioned that about the nacelles, but I feel like, I feel like that it was I feel that they did more than just upgrade like the nacelles and stuff. I feel like they probably got upgraded weapons, shields, stuff like that.
Fair enough. And I hope to see more of these upgrades in future episodes. Spawning out and seeing how they interact with it is pretty cool. Because talking about the upgrades, the ship crew, we see them get their all new Starfleet badges. And these things are like the pocket knife for Starfleet. It can fucking do everything. The Swiss Army, let's say pocket knife, the Swiss Army knife of Starfleet, it's got everything in it. It's not just a communication thing, which it's been in the past. It's also their tricorder. It's also their teleporter. I'm sure it's a couple of other things too, but those are the ones that stood out to me the most. So now when they tap on it, they get a holographic display coming up, and boom, 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 tricorder shit, all fucking done. They've got some holographic projections and all these other things, but this is an all-in-one thing. And sorry, I'm just pulling up my notes here. One of the first gags we get is, what's the name of the fish dude? Limus or some shit like that?
I can't remember his name.
I heard his name. I said to myself, I'm going to remember his name. I forgot his name. Wrote down fish dude. Anyway.
You wrote down fish dude. Nice.
Anyway, First thing we see, but before the end of this particular scene, one of the things we see is Fish Dude teleporting himself onto the captain's chair. And then whilst after that happens, we see Book's ship coming in. And first thing we see in Book's ship is Grudge, I believe is the name of the cat.
I think so, yeah. I think it's Grudge.
It's amazing how I can fucking remember the name of the goddamn cat, which hasn't been seen since like the second episode. It's crazy. It's the second or third episode. But nevertheless, first of all, before I continue on this, what do you think of all their new gear, all the new equipment?
I mean, no,
go on. No, please.
I think it's fine. I mean, I knew it was coming eventually. They would have to get upgrades. I kind of I know Discovery got a little bit of an upgrade, but honestly, I feel like they just need to redo Discovery. Like, even if they like have a ship that they just rename Discovery, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of done with the Discovery design. I never liked it in the first place.
No, they didn't. They didn't want to redo it too much because they didn't want it to be too complicated for people 1,000 years in the past. So they kept some of the aesthetic to make it easy.
I understand your reasoning. The reasoning. I just kind of was hoping for more.
Well, the message on Book's ship is, which is being seen by Burnham and Saru, is that Book believes that he has information on a black book.
Black box.
Sorry, black box. I wrote black book in my notes. Got book in my head of a black box, and this information could help find the source of the burn, because Michael Burnham believes that if they can figure out when all these different burns happen, because she believes the burn didn't happen at one particular time, it happened at different times, and if she can figure out through the black boxes when these burns happened, then they can determine maybe the source of the burn and understand it better that way. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, her obsession with the burn does not make sense. I'm kind of done with the burn. I'm kind of done. Huh?
You can't be done with the burn, because the burn is the overarching story of this. The burn is the red angel of this.
The overarching story should have been rebuilding Starfleet. And I know there is Starfleet technically, and that's kind of one of my issues that we can get into.
No, I agree, but they need to have this sort of weirdness in, like they need a reason for Starfleet to be where it is, and this is what they come up. This is what.
I don't mind there being a burn. I just don't. I don't care why it happened. Like, I mean, okay, maybe right now they need to worry about rebuilding the Federation. I mean, I guess technically right now Starfleet is different than. Wait, no. It's the Federation still, right? Like it's still Starfleet and the Federation. So they're not even rebuilding the Federation, really. I mean, yeah, they're maybe trying to bring it back to its former glory, but I mean, that's one of the things I was going to get into. In my point of view of the season is one of the things that's really falling flat for me is the focus on the burn, and I wanted them to like rebuild the Federation, rebuild Starfleet from the ground up. And I didn't mind them finding the one dude in the one station, because it was like, okay, they can rebuild from this. But now there's a whole starbase and there's other starships and all these other things. And it's like, I'm kind of not feeling it.
Look, you're not the only person who's not feeling it, but unfortunately, with the storyline being the way it is, it's got to be played out. And I guarantee you the quest of figuring out the origins of the burn and possibly reversing it and all that malarkey might be a significant part later on in this season. And we'll see how that goes. But regardless, whatever happens, the burn is here to stay, in my opinion. Let me just pull up my notes. So after getting this information, Michael Burnham wants to go out and get this black box as well as rescue Book, but Saru says no. We've been told to be on standby just in case, Starfleet needs us for a rescue mission, and Michael Burnham, being the person that she is, she's obviously going to fucking defy orders. Now, I am actually happy that she did, because this is true to her character. She just could not help herself, and you have to understand, like, there's more to it than just Michael Burnham being rebellious, and that will come to the end of. We'll get to that later on, but she is staying true to form. You can't say that this is not who she is. She'll say fuck the rules, and you know what? Just to go on a tangent here, Bob. Fuck the rules has been It's been the Starfleet thing for pretty much every series of Star Trek I can think of. They said fuck the rules in the original trilogy, fuck the rules in the movies, fuck the rules in Next Generation, fuck the rules in the Next Generation movies. Definitely fuck the rules with fucking the DS9. God knows how many times Janeway's fuck the rules. You've gone on about it. Fuck the rules in fucking in Enterprise. You know, it's been fuck the rules all the fucking time. And when they did fuck the rules, and they came to storytelling for Picard. You know, it's just fuck the rules, fuck the rules, fuck the rules. Oh my goodness, I do apologize with these pings. So it's amazing that people have an issue with Michael Burnham being a rebel, you know, but isn't this true to her character? And fucking the rules is about as Star Trek as you can get. Do you have a problem with that, Roberto?
I mean, no, but I do have a problem with the writing where it's about the Burnham show. You know, like that's where I mean, I would not have mind if you know, like one of the side characters went with Philippa, and I know that you need to have Burnham there for the whole book thing, but I just it all stems from it's the Michael Burnham show, and again, I'm enjoying this season a lot more than the previous ones, but it's still got. I mean, after episode probably 3, it's starting to seem again like the Michael Burnham show. I mean, in this episode, we got a little bit of time with side characters, with Tall, I think is her name, the Trill.
Mm-hmm.
And Stamets. That was good to kind of build that, you know, that character.
No, you mean Adira?
Adira. What isn't it? Adira?
Adira Tal, but
Yeah. So
Tal is the name of the symbiont. I look at the person.
yeah, well, everyone calls Jadzia Dax. So I mean,
yeah, I guess.
I just feel like again, it's another episode where it's almost like it's the Michael Burnham. I mean, last week it was Michael Burnham and the security lady, and the Dr. Colbert going over to the one ship. But I mean, it's still Michael Burnham had to be there. The episode before that, I mean, you know, Michael Burnham had to be in the thick of that too. And I don't even remember what that one was. Oh, it's on Trill. And you know, Burnham has to be everywhere. You know, even last week it was like Burnham had to command the starship because Saru had to be a hostage. Technically,
I can understand when it's done wrong, it can be annoying, but I think recently it's been done right. And even though this was a Michael Burnham centric episode, like a lot of them are, I like this episode. But anyway, we'll get to that. So Saru's not going to help her. So Michael Burnham being, you know, the tunnel vision, I'll do what the fuck I want sort of person she is. She asked Georgia for help. Now you have to understand, Michael Burnham is not doing this because she's necessarily. I mean, let me rephrase myself. She's a rebellious person, but she's a rebel with a heart. She's not, you know, she's not saying fuck the law and just going out and gallivanting. She's trying to save people, and she's trying to resolve a situation, and she's looking at the best ways possible. And that kind of makes her quite a headstrong leader to a degree, but she's not. She's a number one. But yeah, she gets Giorgio to help, and Giorgio says no fucking problem. I mean, this is her type of thing. You know, she likes to go against authority, especially when she's not the authority. So yeah, she gets them to help. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes here. I do apologize. And one of the things I actually liked in this, when it came to Michael asking Giorgio for help, is one of the things she said was, I would regret doing. I would rather regret doing something I did than doing something I didn't. And I like that.
She did.
Yeah. And I like that. I like that a lot. And when we get the credits after that, and then the opening credits, that is, and then Michael and Giorgio are on book ship, and they're going to go save him and rescue those people and get information on the black box. And there's a nice little development between Michael and Giorgio here, because Giorgio is very witty, and we get this is a good episode for Giorgio. She shows some of her best characteristics in this episode, and she's very witty. She calls when talking to Michael, she calls Book the Blob Whisperer, and initially we all thought we're talking about those aliens in the first episode, but no, she was talking about the cat. That sort of writing, very funny. Up to all of this, with them going on this ship and stuff like that, are you getting into the episode now? I mean, they're going for it.
Yeah.
No, okay, fair enough. So this planet they get to, I apologize, the name did escape me, but it's a salvage planet. And as soon as they approach they're orbiting around the planet, you see a lot of destroyed and smashed up relics of Starfleet ships, and then they land on the planet, and the planet is full of bits and bobs of different eras of Starfleet, phasers and badges and bits and bobs and equipment and stuff, all being salvaged. But by the Orions and the Andorians on this planet. Now we get to meet this Orion who looks a lot like a mini version of the Hulk. His name does escape me, but Giorgio basically owns this dude. I mean, he's trying to become the authoritarian to her, and she's fucking destroying him. And we get to find out that there's a person called Osera, and she's some gangster lady. Now, this is like the Jabba the Hutt of this particular season. This is a person we hear about earlier on, like maybe in New Hope, in Star Wars. This name called Jabba the Hutt, but we don't see him until later down the line, 2 episodes down the line, actually, until Return of the Jedi. And the same here. We've heard this person called Osera. She is the gangster in charge of all of this shit. She's the auntie of this mini Hulk, and we haven't met her yet, but apparently she's quite ruthless, very ruthless, because we see the Andorian later.
I wonder, did they say what race this person was?
No, she's Andorian. Sorry, she's Orion.
She's Orion. Okay.
No, but I only assume.
What?
I assume because Mini Hulk basically said that Osera he's the nephew of Osera. So if that's the case, then there's a good chance that she's also an Orion.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I was gonna say, like, it would be funny if it was like somebody like a descendant of, I don't know, like a descendant of. So it would be great if it was Q. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it probably did.
No,
I know.
No. That would ruin it for me. That would ruin everything for me.
Michael Burnham ruined it for me. So
that's not the sort of fan service I want. It's got to be done right. We go back to. I mean, we are now going back and forth between, Starfleet and Discovery, as well as what's happening on the salvage planet. So back on Discovery, we're seeing Tilly looking after Grudge, which is a nice little moment. Everyone likes cats, and cat seems to be a very popular animal in Star Trek. But I was expecting that cat to possibly turn into some sort of creature and bite her face at some particular point, but that never happened. Were you expecting something like that?
Nah.
Maybe even minusculely, like a tiny bit that possibly could happen?
No, I mean, they did that whole episode on Lower Decks where the dog was like, but which was great, by the way. But I know I didn't think for a second that it was going to turn into anything. I thought it was just a cat or an alien that looks like a cat, the dog that had the mane on or whatever with the horn or something from the original series.
Now, have you seen any Arnold Schwarzenegger movies?
Yes.
The Running Man, by any chance?
I haven't seen The Running Man. I've heard.
Okay. In The Running Man, early on in the film, Schwarzenegger's in this prison, and they've all got these collars. They've got these collars around their necks. Yeah, and the prison has no walls, but it's got these sort of pylons, these perimeter things like they had in today's episode. And if you go past that, your head blows up. The collar explodes around your neck, and your head blows up. And so, seeing that Bajoran, who stole like a water thingy, a water token or whatever, and he got caught stealing it, and then
I thought it was given to him by the Andorian.
Or he kind of palmed it, so he looked like he stole it. But even if it was, then he palmed it, so it looked like theft. And he gets told to leave the complex. And as he's being shot at, as he's running away for his life, he runs past the barriers, and his head gets blown up. And that's because he's had this thing put on him by an Andorian who used to be a rebel fighter, but is now been imprisoned and has been punished to put explosive devices on people's heads. So what do you think of that?
I feel like he could have hid behind something. You know, like there was plenty of
run a different direction.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I get it. He can't go back in there, but I mean, it's better than having your head blow up. I mean,
did you not know that was going to happen, for fuck's sake?
Yeah, I mean, he probably knew it was going to happen, but the prophets were probably with him, so.
Well, it's good to see another Bajoran, even though it was for a short period of time. So, they're basically this is a jailbreak episode, by the way, to a degree, because Michael and Giorgio are pretending to be traders on this planet, and they're looking for Book. They're looking to get the black box, but they're also going to try and save all these people who have been put here against their will. And sorry, I do apologize. I'm just I have to remind myself with the notes here.
They had an old Type 2 phaser laying around. I mean, I don't know if that happened. That probably happened earlier in the episode, but while you're looking at your notes, I just figured I'd bring that up. That old Type 2 phaser that they pulled out of the junk pile from Next Gen.
You know, sorry, I put it because there was different scenes happening. Some of my notes got split up. But before we actually get into some of the more of the ruckus which happened in this episode on the salvage planet, we're back on Discovery now. And Adira is talking to Gray still. I mean, Gray wasn't just a one-off visualization at the end of the Trill episode. He's still there, and she's able to talk to him, which is quite interesting. But then we get our second appearance of Fish Dude. He pops in, you know, spooking everyone. I think he believed he wanted to be in the mess hall, but he ended up in engineering. And then when I realized he popped in for a second time, I knew this would be a recurring gag, and we were going to see him do that shit at least one more time. It wouldn't surprise me. And they did, but we'll bring that up a bit later. So,
it was very southern sounding of you. Later.
Oh, really? Pretty cool. So we are going to talk about Adira and her talking to Gray a little bit later, but just for very briefly, the fact that she's still able to talk to him, how are you feeling about that?
That's okay. I mean, you have that kind of stuff happen in shows a lot of times where they're dead, departed, whatever. Person is, they either are hallucinating them or their essence is still attached to them or something like that. So, I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, I think if it lasts too long, I think it's going to be a bit annoying. I mean,
I'm just putting down to the fact that she's human, which is why this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably just a biological difference, and that's why she's hallucinating more than like a normal Trill would. So, I mean, I feel like there needs to come a point this season, probably towards the end, where he's her boyfriend is like, all right, I need to go now. It's time for you to accept whatever she hasn't been accepted, like his death or whatever. And he's like, it's time for me to go. Like, you need to do this on your own. Because in this episode, he was pushing for her to make friends and to talk to people and to go to other places other than where she works, sleeps, and eats or something like that. And so I feel like
they did also mention the fact that he was her boyfriend. So there was more than just like a passing on of the symbiont. There was a connection between them two as people.
Which usually they're not allowed to have. Like between, yeah.
So that was interesting. And also, by the way, we're still in engineering here, and Tilly's also there as well, communicating with them. And then Saru comes in, and Saru knows that Michael Burnham has gone off doing her own fucking thing, and she's speaking to, I think Saru and Tilly, they have a good bond, and she's speaking to Tilly, asking her a couple of things, and he's actually kind of surprised with Tilly's response, because Tilly's basically saying, "You're gonna have to like basically tell the Admiral about this. She does this a lot. This is who she is, and you can't cover up for her. You can't." And he was actually expecting Tilly to say you should cover up for her, and in a way, I think Saru wanted to cover up for her. Yeah, but he had to do the Starfleet thing, and Tilly reminded him of that. What did you think of that scene?
I thought it was great. I mean, it's true. I mean, and Tilly's right. It's much better coming from Saru than him finding out on his own. So, I feel like that was it was a little bit. I mean, I was a little bit like, I was expecting her to be like, well, she has her, Michael, and she has a reason or whatever like that. And then she said something along the lines of, well, what you have to do, like you have to report her. And I'm like, oh wow, okay, so we're going full what we should do, not what we can do. I don't know. But it's just it was a very nice, interesting twist where, and I mean, even at the end of the episode, which I know we haven't gotten to yet, but there's some payoff there, and when we get to there, I can elaborate more on that, unless you want me to now. But
no, we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. So the jailbreak's on basically, and how Michael and Grogiou set it up is that they get themselves captured on purpose. They stage a little fight, and then they get captured. And the reason being is that they want to get close to Mini Hulk, because he's got the perimeter controls on him. So that's what happens. They beat the shit out of Mini Hulk and his dudes, but then Grogiou goes for another blackout, and this is actually initially I think a lot of people thought maybe David Cronenberg's character and some of those holograms had something to do with it, and they might still do, but there might be more to this than just that. And she starts having visions. Now, I had to watch this a second time, and I paused it because she looked like she was crying over somebody. And this guy, and this is no disrespect to Chadwick Boseman, but this guy looked like this person who was dying and bleeding looked like Black Panther with that mask on and stuff like that. And not like Chadwick Boseman, but it looked like the Black Panther character with the mask on. And she was crying over that. She had blood on her. I thought she was turning into Philippa Giorgio from our universe. I thought she was like merging with that personality or something like that, but that's not the case. After watching it a second time, she's definitely having flashbacks. I believe that person might have been her son as well. But this particular blackout almost cost Michael Burnham her life, but luckily Grogiou wakes up from it, kicks Mini Hulk in the face. Mini Hulk disappears by using the transporter, but they've already opened up the perimeters, and all the prisoners are now running away, which is pretty cool. What do you think of that, Roberto?
Yay, they saved people. So it's all better, right? I mean,
well, you go.
Here's the thing. If Saru would have sanctioned this mission, like since they were dry docked at the moment, do you think that, I mean, I don't know, would it make it any better, or do you think that Michael just needed to go on her own like normal?
Well, the point is that you already knew that Michael was going to do her own thing in the first place. Saru was following orders, but Saru felt he shouldn't have informed the Admiral of Michael's idea, which we'll get to a bit later, because he actually liked the idea initially. But I think Saru made the decision, and because Saru knew that they had to be on standby, and by going away on this mission, even though they could return anywhere they wanted, they would then be involved in this mission and they wouldn't be available. So I don't know. It's very complicated. But I mean, you want to add anything?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, as they're all escaping, the good guy Andorian, he takes a bullet for Book, and this is the funny thing. I thought he was going to die. I thought, just fight for freedom, buddy. I thought we were going to do something like that to Book. Remember who you are, Book. Be a good man. I thought he was going to do a Jensen with Tony Stark.
Yeah.
He looked like, yeah, but no.
His chest right there.
No, but this is good because they didn't go with the cliche. They made sense. I was thinking to myself, hold on, they could just transport these fuckers out just like that, and they did. As soon as I was thinking that, a second later they were transported, and then he got healed instantly, which was great. Shame they couldn't save Grey. Nevertheless, before they even got saved, you saw Book's ship coming in with Michael and Grogiou inside it, and then the ship splits apart, turns around. I think maybe even changes shape and does some shooting and stuff. Cool scene.
Yeah, cool scene. I mean, it blows up some of those old the old starships that were kind of floating there, and I'm guessing, I think that some of those were like the original series era, and I swear one of them looked like a Miranda class, like the Reliant.
Yeah, there's all types of stuff, dude. I mean, I saw phases from the fucking Next Generation. There's all types of shit there. So as soon as Book and Dorian Guy get onto Book's ship with Michael and Grogiou, Book gives Michael the black box, and
which is a vial.
Yeah, which is how it is now. It's how it is nowadays. And Grogiou does what Grogiou does best, the Terran version that is, and blows the shit out of that salvage yard, destroys it, blows it up to smithereens, and I fucking love that. I love the way she said it. Take this, you sons of bitches, or some shit like that.
Yeah, no, she said, salvage this, you sons of bitches.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Now, as they're going back towards Starfleet, Michael wants to talk to Grogiou about those blackouts. Now, this is an really interesting scene here because she's Terran. This sort of shit gets you killed. Terrans are basically the Sith Lords of fucking human beings in that universe. This sort of shit this sort of shit gets you killed. And she didn't want anybody else knowing about it. But Michael's trying to appeal to her better needs by saying, look, you don't have to be worried about here. We'll take care of you. We're all friends here. We're all family. But Grogiou said to her, my Michael said the same thing, and she tried to stab me in the back. But Grogiou should know fucking better now. She should know fucking better now. I mean, Philippa Grogiou of that universe is nothing like the Terran version of Philippa Grogiou. So what the fuck?
I agree. I mean, I agree. I think that Grogiou is smarter than that. So
she should have figured out Michael by now. For fuck's sake, look what Michael's done. I mean, how's she not figured her out by now to know that she's nothing like the Michael Burnham of her universe, nothing at all like the Michael Burnham of her universe. And yet at the same time, Grogiou apparently has some sort of motherly sort of instinct for Michael, but people say that she cares for her. It's weird. Maybe make up your mind, writers, right there. So
yeah.
So I apologize. We're back on Discovery, and this is one of my favorite scenes of the episode. Stamets and Edra talking over a meal and reconnecting with their mutual interest, with their mutual thing, which is that they both lost a lover, but to a degree, one more than the other, have got them back, and they were able to connect over that. So when Stamets sees Edra talking to herself, he knows that there's more to it than meets the eye, realizes that she's able to talk to her symbiont, the previous symbiont host, and he's kind of trying to make sense of it, but he believes in her. And there's a real cool moment where all three of them are kind of communicating, and it reminded me of Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg and Patrick Stewart and Demi Moore and all of that. It was pretty interesting. It was a great scene. It humanized Stamets even more, who's coming across as a really lovable character now.
I'm very glad too. I mean, I get it. He in the first 2 seasons, he could definitely be an ass, but it's like they were really pushing hard on that, and it's like I feel like I feel like you were pushing a little too hard on that.
Sometimes I look at it like this: sometimes the guy you work with is different to the guy who's not working, if you know what I mean. So Stamets at work might be very regimented and stuff, but Stamets seems to be quite laid back when he's not having to work. And so he's having a meal, relaxing, and he's able to be more of not his regular self, not his work self. and he's able to connect with Adira. And like I said, they've got that thing. It was such a beautiful moment. I really loved it. And these are the things that make Star Trek Star Trek.
Well, and it's also Dr. Kolber also said, because when Stamets was saying, "Oh, she works all the time," and yada yada, and then even Kolber said, "Sounds like somebody like somebody I know or something like that."
Yeah.
And I mean, it's true. I mean, we've only seen Stamets really in the work environment. We don't see him much out of, this is the kind of stuff I wanted to see, was them in the mess hall eating and talking, them, just chilling out after a day's work. And I mean, they're just sitting there in bed talking,
Yeah, exactly. I like that as well. Yeah,
this is the kind of stuff I want to see more of. And I'm glad that this was the part of the episode that I enjoyed. I'll get into my overall thoughts later, but I mean, this is definitely one of those points. I agree with you that were really good and I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it was my favorite moment in the episode. That combined with Stamets and Hugh talking to each other at the end of the day's work, and just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. More of that, please. So
yeah,
agreed. We get to the final scenes now. Michael's rebellious streak is cost her, and she is now going to face the music, but she's in the turbo lift with Book. And they finally have that moment. Book stops the lift. He's ready to kiss her. And then we get, 3 times the charm, Fish Dude. He comes in, cock blocks it all, And that was the third time we saw him. I knew we would see him one more time. It was obvious. Yeah. These sort of gags always come in threes. And I'm really happy that even though he came in, he left. They continued. They didn't let that stop him, and I like that. And it was great. And you know what? They're a beautiful couple. The fact they hadn't even lip locked while still gallivanting over the universe, all over the universe, saving people and stealing dilithium or whatever the fuck they were doing. The fact that these two gorgeous people weren't banging each other, I find very hard to believe. But anyways, they had their kiss. So. Yes. Okay. So Michael's now facing the music. By the way, what do you think of all of that? But in the turbo lift,
I don't care.
Fish Dude, third time got blocked.
I like Book, but I mean, sure, shack up with Michael. Why not? I mean, that's what she does. She just hooks up with dudes that are Klingons and don't remember it, and
she hooked up with nobody last season.
Well, yeah, she did. I thought there was somebody she did.
Who?
I don't remember.
I mean, obviously, Klingon human guy. He was around, but that's an ex-fling. He was always going to be there. But regardless, I have no problems with this. I'm going to keep saying I have no problem with Michael Burnham at all. I just don't like the fact that how they sometimes use her. Some people just don't like her, and that's a bit sad. I like Michael Burnham. Like Michael Burnham a lot. I know, I do understand that, but if they're going to use her right, and I thought she was used excellently here. They dealt. Well, we're going to get to all of that. We'll get to that, yeah.
Well, I mean, but to your point about, and as I said, maybe this episode wouldn't have been bad if Michael hadn't been shoved down our throats the past 3 episodes. Like if the past couple episodes actually were more focused on other characters, not just Michael, this one probably would have been fine. But it's just like I'm at episode 3 where I'm just tired of Michael being the focal point of everything.
Fair enough. Well, like I said, we'll get to all of that, and I do agree with you to a degree. So Admiral Vance now is basically torn on Michael. Now, she had basically disobeyed orders, but what she did when she disobeyed orders was not only save lives, but she got extremely valuable information, not just on the Andorian Syndicate, but also with the black box. They got more information regarding the burn. So this mission was excellent. It was very valuable. They've actually benefited from what Michael's done, and this is a really good moment here because Vance is so pissed off, and you can see he's holding it in, but he's so pissed off that he even tells Saru, "Why the fuck didn't you tell me this? I would have probably sanctioned this." and, and it's ironic because even though Saru thought he was doing the right thing, he himself fucked up by not speaking to his superior with this idea, which was a good idea. I mean, Saru should have done that. If you think about it, he should have done that. As good as a captain as he is, he failed on this particular moment. He should have told Admiral Vance this idea, because every idea should be put on the table. Do you agree?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. In my opinion, right now, Saru can do no wrong. So
fair enough. Anyways, so like I said, they've got information on Sarah, the Syndicate, the Black Box, save lives, all very good. Nevertheless, she disobeyed orders. But what Charles Vance is going to do is he's going to let Saru determine the punishment for Michael Burnham. And in my opinion, I think Michael Burnham got off fucking easy here, considering. But like I said, she did help the Federation. So what he does is that he demotes her to a chief science officer.
Yeah, well, she's already the chief science officer, but she's also number one, kind of like Spock was to Kirk. Is that technically Spock was the chief science officer, but he was also Kirk's number one. So, I mean, I don't know who he's gonna make his.
I know. My money's on Tilly.
No, she's an ensign.
No. I think. Look, I know it's going to sound weird, but
I think it's going to be the blonde chick. She's taken command a couple times, like when Saru's been off the bridge.
But I think he needs more than somebody who can just like run a ship when he's away from the bridge. He needs a proper council person. On 2 occasions now, Tilly has proven excellent counsel for Saru. Yeah, Tilly on at the dining hall scene, as well as today, and in episode 2 when they went out, to do research and stuff on the planet they were on, and she handled herself exceptionally, and she knew how to talk to and communicate with people.
Yeah, and character-wise, I don't disagree with you at all. Like, if Tilly was like a lieutenant commander or a commander, I would agree with you 100%. But I think she's just now an ensign, and unless they pull like a captain, like a Kirk in the Kelvin timeline, where they're like, well, these are new times, so let's start new trends about picking, a number one that is, can be any rank. I mean, they might pull that, and I wouldn't like it though. Although as I said, character-wise, yeah, I agree with you. I think Tilly would make a great first officer, but she also needs to have that experience under her too.
This is the weird thing, because Saru's on that bridge. He's got loads of different people he must bond with, not just Michael. Yeah, he goes out of his way to go down to engineering to speak to fucking Tilly, to ask her his advice on Michael. Out of all the people,
Mm-hmm.
So that just makes me think that there's a possibility, but
there's a possibility. I mean,
but that's we'll see what happens. But obviously, Michael's been demoted, and Saru has basically said, I can't trust you. I can't trust you. And that is a horrible thing to be told by anybody you have to be in contact with consistently. That you're working with somebody you looked upon as a friend, and they no longer feel they can trust you. And in the sense of, I think he'll always find Michael to be loyal, but when it comes to orders, that's what I think he means. It's like, if I give an order, I expect you to listen to it, not to go against it. And
this is the 3rd time that she's gone against Saru. I mean,
yeah,
I'm kind of tired. As I said, this episode, if it hasn't been like what it has been the past 3 episodes, this episode probably would have been fine. But honestly, I'm tired of it.
No, but this should satisfy a lot of people, because Michael got what was coming to her. Punishment.
I am glad that she. I mean, I didn't want. I was okay with her being the number one, but honestly, I didn't feel like she deserved it.
Now, I'm not sure if you saw, but I only picked this up second time of watching. But it ends. With. Let me put this lighter here. Like, imagine this is my Starfleet badge. It ends with her just taking it off like that, and then it fades to black. She takes the badge off.
Bye.
My earphone's falling off. She takes the badge off, And so that indicates to me she's done. She's so rebellious that she can't be put into check. This is not, this is always going to be her. She is her own person.
And I
And if
don't disagree.
she'll
Like,
do, yeah.
I don't disagree. I think that this new world and everything like that, and her being gone from from Discovery for a year before getting back on there. I think that this is, if they take her off the crew of the Discovery, I don't think that's a bad thing, truth be told. I think that's good. I know she won't be going anywhere. She's the headliner of this show technically, so I know she's not going anywhere. But I mean, maybe her and Georgiou can become like this, in book can become this like trio team of Black Ops. I don't know.
But we don't want to be splitting up the team now, in my opinion. We don't want to be like a story where these guys are here and we're following their adventures and we're following Discovery's adventures. No, I don't want that. I mean, it's okay for an episode or two when groups and teams do get split up, but not for the rest of the season. I do not want that. And it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here because, like I said, the funny thing is it's very difficult for her because she can't be a rebel without the tools of Starfleet. Without Starfleet's accessibility for her to be rebellious, she wouldn't be able to. Like she needs Starfleet, and at the same time, Starfleet are punishing her for being so rebellious all the time. And you know what? In a way, Starfleet needs her to a degree. They need everybody they can possibly get.
And that's why I'm saying I don't like if her and Georgiou, and Book kind of go and do I don't want to say do their own thing, but like they do something different than what Discovery is doing. Like Discovery, Book is more of a freelancer for Starfleet, whereas, and with Georgiou and Michael, whereas, the Discovery is Discovery. It's a Starfleet vessel. It minds the P's and Q's of the Federation, So yeah, I mean,
I think Admiral Vance didn't want to be the one to punish her. I think Admiral Vance sees something in her, and as much as Michael has gone against the grain regarding orders, she's always come out on top. Always.
Yeah, it's because it's the Michael Burnham show.
But I think there's value in that, and because of that, it's kind of got her as far as she has. But it's just one like rebellious streak too many. Just because you're always successful doesn't mean you always have to do it. You have to listen to orders, and that's what they went with in this episode, and I liked it. But once again, I've always said, Star Trek is full of people disobeying orders. Even people like Spock have said to hell with orders. I think that Data said it. It's
to hell with our orders.
Or some shit like that. They've all said it at some point. So they've all gone against the grain. They've all told Starfleet to go fuck themselves at one point. And compared to Kirk, Michael Burnham has not even reached Kirk's level yet. So I mean, Kirk's done the most fucked up shit. Kirk fucking stole the Enterprise, for fuck's sake. Michael Burnham ain't done that. Kirk stole the Enterprise and only became a captain after being an admiral. That's the worst he got. If anything, he got what he...
Starfleet for being a traitor.
Sorry?
Or a mutineer, sorry.
Say that again? Can you repeat that?
Burnham got kicked out of Starfleet for being a mutineer.
Who did?
Burnham? At the beginning of...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. And yeah, I can't remember her journey back into Starfleet, but she got back somehow, and then she wasn't this, and then she wasn't that. She was kind of like this, kind of like that. I did like the idea, the idea of like the focal point being on the first officer and not the captain. That was quite a clever idea, but it's different with this show compared to the previous Star Trek shows, because it's like a pyramid, and I don't want to say like a pyramid system, but the focal point is the captain all the way down. It's a bit skewed when it's the first officer and not the top, if you know what I mean. And everyone gets their chance in the sun when you start from the top and use the person at the top to bring light to all these other people, and then finally we get to know them better and shed light. But we're skewed. We're starting on the side here, and we're focused on this one the most, and nothing's been shed to other people. But it's getting there. It's getting there. Like, there's many more episodes left to go. We're not even halfway. So, are we?
12 episodes?
No, maybe we are.
I don't remember. Hold on, I'm checking. You can keep going, though.
Now,
13 episodes. So yeah, we're not even halfway yet.
Fair enough. Now, I did not like last week's episode. I was very much looking forward to last week's episode, but I didn't like it. I thought it was one of the weaker episodes. And when I saw the trailer for this episode last week, I thought to myself, oh my God, they're making an action-packed wham, bam, thank you, ma'am episode of Star Trek, which is not what I really wanted. But I like this episode. I like this episode a lot. I think there was a lot going on in this episode. There was a lot of development in this episode. We got some more character arcs in this episode as well. Revelations in this episode. This was a great episode. A lot came out of it, and the small moments too with Adira and the symbiont and Stamets and all of that. Great. I'm really happy with it. Looking forward to the next one. What I saw in the trailer for the next one doesn't really explain much. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. I don't mind that.
I'll give you a hint though. It's with the Vulcans, and I saw a lot of Michael Burnham. So guess what? It's still the Michael Burnham show.
All right. You got to stop hating.
Look, I'm just saying, like, all they do is focus on this one character, and you said it yourself. It skews it this way.
I agree. Look, I agree. I do agree, but at the same time, when the execution's done right, I don't mind. And I think today's episode, the execution was brilliant. It wasn't just a Michael Burnham show. I thought it was a Grogiou show more than anything. And then we've got great moments with Tilly. We've got great moments with Adira. Got great moments with Stamets. We saw Saru not being the ultimate perfect captain, a little blemish, nevertheless. You know, I think Admiral Vance looked a lot better today compared to last week. He looked like a guy who had to juggle a lot of things, and he's not this militaristic arsehole we might have thought he came across as in the previous episode. There was more to him this time around. It was a good episode.
I'm not saying it was a bad episode either. I'm very fatigued by there being so much of this one character that is the center of every episode. And I mean, yes, like there are other things going on, like the Troll Homeworld. And then last week, I don't even remember what last week was at this point. But I mean, in this week, it's like, okay, this one was kind of a Grogiou episode. But still, it's still just everywhere we go, it's this one character. I'm not even going to say her name because I can tell you're sick of me saying her name. Everywhere we go, this one character is still the focal point of and just about everything. I mean, you go to the Troll Homeworld, there's this one character. You go to, the captain stays on Starfleet's vessel, but you got to go to this other siege ship. And hey, guess who's going over there? This one character. You never, even in Next Gen, DS9, Voyager, you never had that. You never.
No, I agree, but this is a different show. And what they've done right now, in my opinion, is they still made it a character-centric show for Michael Burnham, but they've made it way more Star Trek. And this is what I'm liking about this, Bob. It's not, there's an overall story here, and it can, it can't be episodic, adventure of the week like it can be in previous Star Treks, where you can totally focus on other characters. Because there's an overall story here, it's very difficult to bring other people into play for their own adventures, because it might go against the narrative of the overall season. You see what I'm getting at?
I do not. I think that you can do these episodes with different characters and still have the overarch, because honestly, I mean, okay, their first goal was find each other. The first two episodes, find each other. Burnham and Discovery, find each other. Okay, so that was the two first episodes. Then the next episodes after that was find Starfleet, and that took about
No, yeah, but I still think they want to keep it character-centric. Now, you get it. They want to keep it the Michael Burnham show, but they're making it way more Star Trek. Because the problem was it was the Michael Burnham show in season 1, and it wasn't Star Trek enough. It was kind of getting there in season 2, but in my opinion, this is the most Star Trek season of all Discoveries, of all the Discovery seasons, and it's very Michael Burnham centric, but it's being true to what Star Trek is, and that I don't mind. And that for me is the fundamental thing. I mean, the original season, the original series was the James D. Kirk show, for fuck's sake.
They focused a lot on. I agree with you in the fact that they did focus a lot on Kirk and Spock, but I mean, you still had
no. Sulu was hardly doing shit. So was fucking Chekhov. So was fucking Uhura. Apart from the kiss, she didn't do fuck all. Yeah.
Oh, but you got Scotty and McCoy that did a lot too.
McCoy did. Sorry, Scotty did a decent amount. Yeah, but at the same time, he was maybe the 4th most used character. It was really the trio of Spock, Bones, and Kirk, and even then, it really was mainly Kirk. Every fucking bird he was banging, every scenario he was in, fighting this, going there, Gorn, all this shit. I mean, having a woman inside him. I mean, all this sort. I mean, he was you're everything.
As I said, but I'm not defending the original series at all either. So
no, all I'm saying is that if you can still keep it Star Trek, and try a different format, then I'm fine with that. If it needs to be the Michael Burnham show, make it the Michael Burnham show, but make it fucking Star Trek. And they've done it this season, and I'm fine with that. I think obviously they give Michael Burnham too much in certain areas, like in the previous episode. It shouldn't have been her to talk that Barzan guy around. It should have been the Barzan Starfleet officer to do it. But other than little things like that, little nitpicks like that, I don't mind that making it centric on her, as long as they keep it Star Trek. And other characters are coming into play now. Just give it some more time, and they'll get more development.
Okay.
They'll have more to do. Like, we've already seen Detmer being, the top gun of the team. She is the pilot. That is her job. When they're going to eventually, Discovery is definitely going to be in a space battle of some sort, and she's going to come into play. Her and her colleague, whose name I forget, and so with a lot of the bridge crew, I think we need to see some space battles, and then we probably might see a lot of the bridge crew, hold their own a little bit and show how good they are.
I think we need some bridge shenanigans, because a lot of the stuff because keep in mind, when things happen on the bridge, like the crew gets locked on the bridge or something like that. Like, the only episode that I can really remember from Discovery so far that did this was the Harry Mudd episode, where Mudd kept walking onto the bridge and doing the whole thing with Lorca, and that was iffy at best. But I mean, there needs to be an episode where they're where they're stuck on the bridge for most of the episode, or they're stuck in engineering for most of the episode, or something. Just they're not. They're so worried about being grandiose sometime, I feel, that they're afraid to just bring it down to a single set. You know what I mean? Some of the best things that happen are when Q shows on the bridge. I mean, he involves Riker, and he involves LaForge, and he involves Data, and but it all happens on the bridge.
I want to see. I'll tell you what. Whether it be John Delancey or his son, his real life son, who also happens.
I think that would be an amazing homage.
Yeah, that would be perfect. But I want to see that Q on Discovery. I want to see Q on Discovery. I don't see why not. He's part of that.
Michael Burnham, and then they can have a baby.
He can try and he probably want to try and bang her, and I don't blame him. But nevertheless, I really would like that to happen. That would be pretty cool. I mean, we've had Harry Mudd. Why not have a TNG character this time? And I also want to see Riker at some point. Maybe not this season. Maybe not next.
As a different character, or as William T. Riker?
William T. Riker.
How? I mean, maybe in a hollow something like
there's time travel. Well, look, they're already in the future, so that means that his timeline has already existed. They've already gone past it, and they can get back to it. They could holodeck him or some shit like that. I expect a holodeck to be on the Discovery now. I hope they put one in there. You think they put one in there?
I haven't seen a holodeck yet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Imagine they're going to freak the fuck out when they come across a holodeck. You know, having any
programmable matter. I mean, I don't know. That would freak me out a bit.
Look, personally, if there was such things as holodecks, I would never interact with society ever again.
That's a personal problem. That's a personal preference.
No, honestly, it'd be like I have my own world of anything and everything. I'll be in my own porn world for the rest of my life.
Yeah, but you gotta, you gotta earn a living somehow, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, then. Well, look, we're obviously yabbering on, chatting on. We're going to be looking forward to the next episode, but tomorrow we're going to be talking Mandalorian episode 4. Will Ahsoka Tano be in it? I don't think so. I think she'll be in the following episode. But regardless, I'm going to watch it. And you know who's directing tomorrow's episode, Bob? Of The Mandalorian?
I think I know. Hold on. Well, no. Go ahead and tell me, but I think I know.
Carl Weathers.
Yes. I was going to say, I knew it was somebody. It wasn't what's his face from Clone Wars?
What, Filoni?
Yeah, Filoni. It wasn't Dave Filoni, but I knew it was somebody. So...
Well, I'm going to be bright and early, but our review of that will be on Saturday, I believe.
Yep.
Yep.
That's up to you, Mike, because you're the one who can't, has.
I can do it tomorrow if you want to, straight off the press.
It's up to you. If you, as I said, I should be available tomorrow night, but if you are not,
no, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll be doing our Mandalorian review tomorrow. So make sure you're up early tomorrow morning to watch it. I will be. And then make sure you're still awake in the evening to watch us, because I will be. Thank you very much, Bob.
No problem. Don't forget to mention, I think, are we doing the next fan film commentary this weekend, or are we going to wait on that?
I was going to bring that up at the end of the Mandalorian thing, but yes, we will be doing a Star Trek fan film over the weekend, possibly on Saturday, talking about the not the latest, but a Star Trek fan film. We're going to give our opinions on it, and if it's good, then we'll say it's good. If it's bad, we'll say it's bad. If it's mediocre, we'll say it's mediocre. And if it's all of that at different places, we'll say that too. So look out for that. That'll be coming soon this weekend. So don't forget to follow us on Facebook, on Discord, on YouTube. Look for this logo, Nerd Nation. You'll see it on all those other social media sites. Anything to say, Roberta, before we go, mate?
Nope, I think that's it.
Very good. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.